NASCAR had an absolute banger of a race on Sunday at Bristol, but all some fans want to talk about is the attendance. So let's talk about it. Nothing infuriates me more than talking about Bristol Motor Speedway attendance, other than like the first time I saw an Australian time zone map for daylight savings time. That will infuriate a person. But I don't think some fans realize that this track holds 146,000 people. It was built to hold a sport at the peak of its popularity. And now, as we know, that was just kind of an anomaly, a blip. It wasn't sustainable. On NASCAR's timeline, it will never get back to this point more than likely. And that's fine, because you'll be hard-pressed to find any event that will put 146,000 people into a stadium at this point. So this is what we had yesterday. And people are like, oh, it's only half full. That's still 73,000 people. Last week at Phoenix, we celebrated that was a sellout of 42,000, and there's 30,000 more people here. So take a look at this picture, and now let's look at last year's race on dirt. So this photo is taken from the same spot by Dustin Long from NBC Sports, and honestly, I would argue that the concrete race that we had this past weekend had more fans in it. This is not great. This looks bad. And a lot of people will go back to this photo from 2019 as well. This was the photo that sparked all the rage, that was saying that Bristol needs to leave, that NASCAR can't even fill Bristol anymore. That's why the sport's declining. So this is from 2019. They didn't allow fans to sit in either end of the racetrack, only on the straightaways right here. Visually, yeah, it doesn't look great, but the amount of people that are on each side here could still fill Phoenix, Homestead, Iowa, Gateway, all these tracks that don't have the same capacity. But meanwhile, all these fans want to get hung up on the fact that there's not 146,000 people here sitting in these stands. Well, there's never going to be. Again, the Bristol night race draws in probably about 100,000, 110,000 fans, and that's a lot of fans. I mean, outside Daytona, Talladega, and Indianapolis, Bristol still has the most amount of fans that show up. It just visually doesn't look very good, although they're still putting a lot of people in the stands. So maybe the next time before you all tweet this out, you take that into consideration. You won't, but maybe.